Hiroshima, and today I have the pleasure of talking with SUGALENIN,
Hey,
Kristina Minami. Thank you so much for joining.
hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming
It's
on our show.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So yesterday, Christina and I were on Tokyo City and Nature webinar, which was really fun. But once I started looking at your Instagram, Christina, there is so many wonderful off the beaten tracks, slow travel, sustainable travel stories that you've done all around Japan. Have you been to all 47 prefectures yet?
Well, I actually have like three prefectures left. There will be like Saga, Oita, and Shimane, and I'm still like waiting for some projects. I don't know, like, or I really want to go there like this year. Like, I hope I can do this so I can like conquer all 47 prefectures.
I think you'll get there. And no matter where you go, on we're going to go through lots of your photos, talk about lots of your travel stories today. And it seems like no matter where you go, you just really appreciate the little things, which I really love about traveling myself too. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think like the beauty is in like everywhere. So you don't need to go like to the main attraction to find something beautiful. You just need to go out there like and see what's going on.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, to tell people a little bit of your backstory, I was looking at the questions that people ask you on Instagram. And one of them is, how did you come to Japan? Of course. And you first came over as a student. Is that right?
Yes, I came like as a student in 2016. Speaking Japanese was my dream from the childhood, I guess. I came to Japan in 2016, and I went to Japanese school, which is like Japanese language school in Osaka. And so my first Japanese was like Osaka Ben Japanese. And I stayed there like for 2 years or so, and it was like really fun time. But well, I'll almost spend like all the time just working and doing some part-time job, well, which was like really busy period of my life, but it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then you talk about one of the reasons you were interested in Japan, there was an actor that you fell in love with, Haruma Miura. Is that right?
Yes, Haruma Miura was my my star. Well, I really loved him. So I like first watched the film with him when I was like 14 or 15. So when I fell in love, like, well, with his talent, because he was like really really talented. So and it was my dream to meet him one day, which I did.
That's amazing. How did you have the chance to meet him?
um, So there is a TV show that is called Yuwa Nanishi Nippon, so What Are You Doing in Japan? And I met this TV crew at the airport. It was in 2014, I think. It was like my first time ever coming to Japan. And I met them and they asked like, what are you doing in Japan? I said like, well, I'm just, a traveler, but I would love to meet him. So I said like, oh, I would love to meet like Miura Harama. And they said like, we'll see what we can do. So in the 6 years, almost I think 6 years or 5 years, so they filmed five different episodes of me like working in my home country, trying to learn Japanese. And after I came to Japan and I got my first job in Tokyo, they also like came to my working place, and they said like they had a secret, like some kind of like a surprise for me. So we went to one of the restaurants at the Roppongi, and I was thinking like they're probably gonna show me some, I don't know, like poster signed by him or some souvenir with him. And they said like open your eyes, and then like when I opened eyes there was nothing in front of me, but when I turned my head to the left, there would be like him just sitting there, like looking at me, and just like he waved like hello, like how are you doing and stuff like that. So it was crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. What a really nice surprise and totally unexpected. How fun.
Yeah, that's true. Uh,
But it was his philosophy, or it was kind of an epiphany for you when he died. Unfortunately, he died really young, and it kind of inspired you that you need to have better work-life balance. And one of the ways to do that is through travel. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, he died in 2019, and well, it was like really sad for me. I was in such a great like shock, and but one thing that I learned from that experience is that like the life is too short, so you have to do what you want to do, and I've always was, I don't know. Eager to experience like the Japan, but a different side of Japan, the non-touristic Japan, and so I've started my blog on Instagram like several years ago, and now I'm here like showing all these places to all of you guys. So it's like really incredible. I really appreciate all your support. So I'm happy now.
That's great. Well, you do have a lot of great support. And you have one of the things that I wanted to ask you as well is one of the common questions people ask you is like how to take great photos, how to visit Japan. So let's start with some of those questions and see if you can add to some of the questions. I would
Sure.
love to hear your additional information too.
Mm.
So people asking, as a first time traveler to Japan, what would you suggest landing in Tokyo? And you say, of course, depends on the season, but you would skip Tokyo, Fujisan, Osaka, Kyoto, and because of over tourism. And avoiding over tourism is something you often talk about. Which is, I think, so important as the inbound tourism gets busier and busier. And you say instead, try Tokyo, Nagano, Toyama, Kanazawa, Osaka, Deep Nara. And of course, it's up to you. But I love to find other people working in tourism and travel in Japan who are really suggesting these off the beaten track places. Would you stick with that answer?
I would probably change it a bit, but it really like depends on the season. And I don't want to say that like Fujisan, like or going to Osaka or Kyoto is bad thing, but just maybe you can change something. You know, there's like a lot of places near Kyoto where you can go, like Uji, like the place, the the famous place for the tea farms, or like in Tokyo, you can see like a different side of Tokyo, which we talked about yesterday, that there's like Hinohara village, that there's like Akiruna city, and something like out of the main spots like Shibuya or Shinjuku. But yeah, I would definitely advise you to try the Golden Route, for example, like so different route, and going through like Nagana, Tayama, and Kanazawa would be like a really nice experience because, for example, the Kanazawa actually looks a lot like Kyoto. They have like this matcha, like this Japanese style tea houses where you can find like geisha performing. Um,
Yeah, I was just there recently. They
oh,
have really nice preserved old towns, right? Where all the classic houses are together and you can wander around. And
yeah.
most of them are still in use. Like businesses are using them, people are living in them. So that was a really nice surprise. The first time I was in Kanazawa just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful city with a lot to see. So I would definitely recommend people to stay there like for 2 days at least, and then catch a train from Kanazawa to Osaka. It's really easy to go from Kanazawa to Osaka. It's not like Shinkansen; it's like a rapid train, which would be not that expensive as Shinkansen, and you can enjoy like bento or like some like lunch on the train and just read some books. So it won't take that long, just a couple of hours.
Yeah, and I think your ideas about avoiding over tourism are so good. But even if you want to go somewhere that has like a real top spot and so popular, you can still avoid tourists. You can still avoid the crowds by going much earlier or later in the day or off season, which I see you doing a lot as well. Is that right?
Yeah, like I recently stayed near Asakusa. I had a shooting for work at one of the hotels, and I was thinking like, hey, I like honestly, I don't like Asakusa. It's like somewhere like everyone is going there, so it's like really overcrowded, and so I never go there. So like, but this time I was thinking like I'm staying there for a night, so maybe I can wake up like really early to see what's going on around. And so I woke up about like 5 a.m. and I went through streets of like Asakusa, and it was really beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. And there was like almost no one there,
Yeah.
just a
It's
couple.
magic, isn't it? It's like the benefits of going to famous Miyajima Island, but if you stay on the island
Yes,
before the crowds come or after the crowds leave, you have the island magic to yourself, right? So it
exactly.
is possible. Yeah. Another comment. So, which is your favorite Japanese prefecture? I love your answer. It's very politically correct. All of them. I can't decide. Is that true? You can't decide on a favorite one?
Yeah, I really can't decide. But if we like, I was actually talking about it with my friend, and I was thinking maybe like Nara Prefecture would be one of my favorite ones, because no one's talking about Nara Prefecture. Like everyone's going there to see like deer, right? There's like a famous park, Nara Park, where you can go and see like deer like wandering around, and but Nara is such a beautiful, great prefecture with a lot of culture, and there's so many places that you can go there and feel like the ancient Japan. Yeah, there's like a persimmon harvesting, which is like really rare thing. You can stay in beautiful houses. You can experience like this old Japan that is not touristic but something really special. So if you have time, I would definitely advise you to go to Nara to explore the deep Nara, not only Nara Park.
Just fantastic. And I just want to point out here, if you're listening, not looking, this is a beautiful old house, which has been renovated into a hotel. You've got these gorgeous original beams across the top, and just a fabulous place to stay. That's in deep Nara, as you say, right, Christina?
Yes, Okunara, yes, the deep Nara, yes.
Yeah, we had a comment from Deb. Thanks for joining from YouTube. She says, "Hi, Joy and Christina, building my Japan itinerary with your help. Thanks so much for joining. Fabulous." Yeah, Nara. Another thing you did, which I thought was great. I love to see fruit picking in Japan. Is such a wonderful thing to do, seasonal.
Yes,
Many different areas, right?
yes,
But you also did this really unique kudzu sweets making. Now,
yes.
kudzu, I don't know if you know this, Christina, but kudzu is like an invasive species. And there's only some parts of Japan where they eat it. And so if we could bring that culture of eating something that nobody wants, that's
Mm,
fabulous. I love that idea, right?
yeah. Like kuze is a really like rare thing. I don't think that you hear about it like every day. And like this is like honkuzu. So and honkuzu is made only in Nara Prefecture in Yoshino Mountain, which is like really accessible from Osaka as well. It's just like a couple of hours, and you can also buy tickets on the Symphony train, which is like really beautiful blue train going from Osaka to Yoshino Mountain, which is like can be a 1 day trip, or you can stay there for a night and enjoy like the sunset and sunrise, which is probably would be really beautiful.
Yeah, sounds amazing. And you were some of your photos as well, showing other animals, not only deer in Nara, but I love this picture here. And you say, "I won't lie. I say that Nara is my favorite prefecture." See, you did say it. But one of the few prefectures where you can feel the untouched beauty of Japanese nature. So that's lovely and very easy to get to, right? Because it's on the Shinkansen line.
Yes, yes. It really depends on the place, because as I said, like Nara Prefecture is really huge, prefecture, like size wise. But yeah, there's like a lot of buses and local trains, so it wasn't like really hard to travel around. And if you search a bit, or you can always like message me, and I can help you with like itinerary.
Nice. And you said you don't drive, right? So a lot of the rural areas you go to, they have to have a train or a bus or some way to get there by public transport, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, like I don't have a driving license, and I've never, I never tried like driving or anything. So I usually use just buses and trains, which is really comfortable, because like Japan has a really good system of trains and buses. There's like a schedules, and they actually stick to the schedule, which is like really important for like tourists. So even if you don't speak like Japanese, you can always check the site. You can use Google translator, or it's like really easy to translate the whole site into English to see the schedule. So yeah, I usually use buses and trains.
Yeah. Now that's another point you raised just there about using Google Translate. That often, if you are going outside the cities, it is a little bit more difficult to communicate. It might be more difficult to book a hotel in a ryokan. But I think recently, even Booking.com or the booking agencies, you can book smaller stays, the Japanese style inns. They are also easier to book. So you just maybe need to order your food or do a little bit of Japanese. But to me, that's the fun part of traveling, right? Is
Yeah.
having to speak the language.
Yeah, I really enjoy like talking to the locals. And when I first came to Japan in 2014, like I couldn't speak at all, so I was using just like the body language or like some Google Translator. It was fun, and a lot of people like understood what I was talking about, so they laughed and they smiled, and it was like just a really nice experience. So they tried to help me, and I was like really thankful for that. So just don't be afraid to go there and use your like body language, or you have an internet. You can buy like a SIM card, so it's so easy these days.
Yeah, that's true. It is a lot easier. When I first came to Japan, it was only a paper book. There was no smartphones, so a long time ago. But a lot of travelers, because I've been doing tours recently as well, and a lot of travelers are just blown away by how helpful and kind people are. So
Yeah.
even if they can't speak English, they do somehow communicate, and then they somehow help them. And I think that's especially true in less busy areas. You have so many people really willing to take time and help, right?
Yes, that's true. Like they're really interested in talking to foreigners as well. They say like, "Oh, like I don't speak English. I'm really sorry for that, but I will try like my best to help you," which is like really nice of them.
That's so great. Another question you had is how do you take such good photos? I think for anyone like you're almost at 200,000 followers on Instagram, so you are a real Instagram influencer. And one of the reasons I think for your success is all your fabulous reels that you do. You have great engagement with your people making comments. You often highlight their comments and say thank you. I think all of that is really important to build your following, but also yes, good photos. Now, is it true you only use your smartphone?
Yeah, like I really enjoy traveling on just with my backpack. So I do have a camera, and I enjoy taking pictures. And I actually launching a site right now where I just put all my articles, and I use like real photos taken from my camera to support like the platform. But for everyday life, I just use my phone. It's so easy and it's so light, and I'm just playing with an angle or the light, the weather, and I really enjoy the moment, just the shooting, whatever I see, just shoot.
And you had really good advice about just practicing and
Yeah.
and keep practicing. Maybe look at the style that you like to see on Instagram, and then you try to replicate that style. Is that right?
I don't usually get inspired by some like Instagram like reels or whatever. I just love shooting like every day. Like when I wake up, I don't know, I see the light and I'm just shooting at my house. So it doesn't matter what you shoot. It just you have to practice it every day. When I'm looking at my photos or at my videos that I took like a year ago, I can see the difference. So I think if you do it with passion, like every day, you will see the changes really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. Another very common question you get asked is about getting a job in Japan.
Yeah.
It's a very common question. You said almost twice a day you get asked this on your feed. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like the most common question, like how well, it's not like about how. I think like the first question you have to ask yourself, do you really want to work in Japan? Because everything is so different, like the culture, the working culture is different, the hours different, the salary would be different too. If you feel like you can get like really high paid salary, like a high paid job like in Japan, it won't be 100% true, because well, you probably know no matter how you try, like the salary here is not that high. Yes, so
Especially with the yen exchange rate at the moment.
oh,
If you want to
oh,
send money abroad, it's not a good thing. Yeah. We had a comment from Natasha. Thanks for joining on YouTube as well. She said she's never tried driving either. We are a rare breed. And I think, especially like you, Christina, you're living in Tokyo. On the webinar yesterday, we were talking about how great
mhm.
Tokyo's public transport is. A lot of cities in Japan, including Hiroshima, we have fabulous public transportation in the city as well. So I think Japan's a pretty easy country to visit and rely on public transport. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. Like, of course, like if you can drive, it might be like easier to go to like really, um, for example, in Hokkaido, if you go to Hokkaido, like, it's huge, it's enormous, and there are not many like trains going around, or it's like really expensive, so it would be like much easier to travel by car. But if you travel in central Japan, like if you travel around like Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto, even Nara, like there are a lot of buses and trains, and I'm actually like traveling if I don't have any like meetings or something that's like strictly um like that I have to go on time. I usually use my bicycle, or you can also rent a bicycle. There's like a Docomo system. You maybe heard about it. It's um, the bike that you can like rent for a couple of hours and just put it back at any spot you want. So it's like really easy to travel around Japan, even using bicycle, which is like really eco-friendly.
Yeah, for sure. And I love walking. I think most places in Japan are very walkable. So once you get there, usually you're around the heart of the city. It's not too hard to walk from side to side. It seems like you enjoy walking as well. You do a lot of hiking, I've
I do.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of hiking. Yeah, I recently went to one of the Nagao mountains. It is called Kurumayama, which is translated into English as a car mountain. But and I hiked about like maybe 25 kilometers per day, per 2 days. Sorry, 2 days. So yeah, if you have like really comfy sneakers, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And even for travelers in Japan, they often say it's easier sometimes than figuring out the train system. If it's a bit confusing, they just walk.
Yeah.
So they're averaging like 20,000 steps a day. It's very good exercise, but make sure you're ready to walk when you come to Japan, right?
True. You have to have like a nice sneakers, to travel around. Yeah.
Hey, I've had some guests who are great at walking around. They're wearing slippers, like
Oh,
flip flops. It's
oh,
amazing. Yeah, I don't know how
really?
they do it. Yeah. From Hawaii. People have strong feet.
Uh, I would never do that though.
Yeah.
They probably
Very, very different culture, right? Some areas.
true.
Now, one of the places that I think you really love from your Instagram is Toyama. You seem to really love going to Toyama. Can you tell us about it?
You usually go to Toyama during winter, but I was thinking of going there like this autumn as well. So like there's a lot of people going to Shirakawa Gore, which is a really famous place in Gifu Prefecture. Well, you can see it on the screen, and while it's really beautiful. Actually, like in Toyama, you can find almost identical place, which is like Gokayama village. It's in Toyama, and you need like probably like a 30 minutes bus drive from like Shirakawa-go to go there. But it's not very wide known, so you won't find like a lot of tourists in the area, which is like really cool because I'm actually really sensitive to sounds and to the crowds, so I prefer to go the places which is like hidden and lesser known. That's probably like the main reason why I have this blog on Instagram.
Yeah. I went to Shirakawa-go recently, and we didn't have a chance, unfortunately, to go to Toyama to see that version.
Yeah,
But as someone working in tourism, I try to go to the touristy places too, because I want to see what strategies they're using to try to space out the crowds. And so I took the back streets around some of the back streets, and then it was more quiet. So is it possible to enjoy this place even with so many people? But yeah, it's much easier if you go somewhere where it's not so packed, right?
that's true. That's true. Yes. So, like, I really hope that like tourism boards in Japan would PR like more or lesser known spots, but they actually put like money on PRing like all the same spots, which is like a bit, well, that's a shame.
It's hard because you understand the push and pull, right? Because you have to show the hits, the top sites that everybody wants to come to Japan for, but there's also so many other things, like, so you have to show a little bit of the top and then say, but not so far away as this one. So it's kind of a juggling act, isn't it?
That's true. That's true. Yes.
Natasha had a good question about bicycle rentals. Is it affordable? I think so. The ones in Hiroshima City, I think it's 1,500 yen a day. So that's less than $10 a day to use the bike rental service. I think that's a really good rate.
I think in Tokyo it's like around like 2,000 maybe, but you can also like rent it for an hour. There will be like 150 yen, which is like really, it's even cheaper than using a transport, like using metro or JR. It's so easy.
And if it's a nice day, you can be outside. And quite often, even in the cities, they have nice lanes that you can use next to the river, which is a nice way to get around, right?
Yes. Cycling in Japan, yeah, I think it's also like in Nara prefecture there's like a lot of cycling roads, so if you're a cycling maniac, and actually like next week I'm going for a business trip to Kagoshima, and I would be like cycling around Kagoshima using bicycles. So if you're into like cycling, Japan can be like your destination. There's like so many different beautiful locations for cycling.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we move on from Toyama, you've got this lovely train. You say the most scenic train line right next to the ocean, right?
Yeah, this is it's close to Toyama Station. I think you need to take a train to go to see this train, but it's worth it. I think it's like 30 minutes drive on the train. I mean, and it was like really beautiful. It's just by the ocean, and I love winter, so I love cold weather. So I went, I think on December 27 or something, so just before the New Year, and it was beautiful. Yeah, as you can see like on the picture, this contrast, like red a train and this grayish ocean. It was like, wow, beautiful.
So beautiful. And then you've also been to Tohoku, a little bit north of Tokyo. Now, a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to go to Tohoku from the Tokyo area, right?
Yes, it's true. Like, you can go by Shinkansen. It's around like 3 hours, I would say. And well, it's you can also like use passes, no AGR pass, but like the Hoku pass, which would be um, a bit less expensive. So I don't think that a lot of people know that there are like a lot of GR passes, which kind of concentrate on different like as I said, like areas in Japan. For example, like Tohoku JR pass, that would be like not that expensive. So you can take this JR pass for 5 days and travel all around Tohoku. I went this spring to Akita and Iwate Prefecture and to I think Aomori. Yeah, it was like really beautiful, and I would go again, maybe in winter to see some snow.
Yeah, I a few months ago I went to Fukushima as well, and of course Fukushima's in the news. But that whole Tohoku coastline, that whole Tohoku area is so beautiful and so easy. Even in Fukushima, it's such a big place.
Yes.
So it's not only about the nuclear disaster, definitely not. There's a lot to see all around that area. So yeah, don't be shy. Go visit Tohoku.
People don't understand that Fukushima is actually like a really big prefecture, so you have like a lot of places to visit. And actually, like last autumn, I went to the place where the nuclear reaction happened in 2011, and it was okay, like because I had like radiator and I was checking, and it was like totally fine. I would definitely like advise maybe not go to that place, but maybe go to some other places in Fukushima, which is closer to Tokyo, and it takes around like 2 hours from central Tokyo. So it's also like really good advice for like 2 days trip, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing a lot of the horse culture they used to have there
Yeah.
and some of the museums and so much great fruit and vegetable. And like you said, they're testing everything, so you don't have to worry about safety. It might be safer than other parts of Japan because they are testing everything.
True.
It's amazing. Natasha said, look at that beautiful train. Trains are my obsession. Yeah, I love trains in Japan too. Your photography is breathtaking. Thanks so much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things we were talking about cycling, right?
Mhm.
And you always, when you go to Osaka, you always have a different view of Osaka than the typical neon light Osaka, right?
Yes, I used to live in Kashiwara City, which is a city around like 30 minutes away from Namba Station. So Namba Station is like kind of like central station. It's like Tokyo. Well, it's not like it's like Osaka Station would be like a Tokyo station in Tokyo, but it's also like really central station in Osaka, and probably like a lot of tourists go there. But what they don't know is that you can take a train. It's 30 minutes to Kashiwara City. There are like a lot of nature. There's like a wineries because it's one of the place where they produce like a lot of wine. And yeah, there's like Osaka wine in Kashiwara. You can Google Kashiwara wine. It's actually like really good. Yeah, and I usually do cycling around.
It just looks beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous area.
Thank you. This is actually like the village. There's like a village in Osaka, the only village in the whole Osaka, and you can also go there by bicycle. Yeah.
Ah, lovely. And Osaka, of course, is another city that most people fly into. So it's like we were talking about at the webinar yesterday. It's worth, even if you go to Tokyo, don't rush out of Tokyo. Yes, it's a big city, but there are so many gems. And I say the same for Osaka area, right?
Yeah, that's true. You just have to, I don't know, spend some time in the Google, or you can always visit my page and I hope you'll find some advices.
Yeah, definitely. You've got so many great places around Japan. And now, one other area you seem to really like is in Shizuoka, Gotemba.
Yeah, I went there like last, I would say like October. A lot of people probably know that Gotemba is a city where you can find a really big shopping mall. So you can, I didn't go there for shopping. I actually go there for different like experiences. So this is me wearing a special clothes for picking tea leaves, which is like really interesting experience. And I didn't know that in Gotemba you can do this. And We also rode horses. There's like a special place where you can like ride a horse and while looking at the Fuji mountain, which is really beautiful. And Yeah, and Gotemba is actually like really easy accessible from Tokyo. I think it's just like only 2 hours. You can take a bus. I think it's like 3,000 yen or something, so really really cheap. And you can go for one day or again stay for a night, which I would recommend doing.
I love the costume. Of course, Shizuoka is famous for tea, Japanese green tea. They have fields and fields. So
Yeah.
whenever I take the train through Shizuoka, I always admire Mount Fuji, but I always also look at all the tea fields. I'm like, oh, tea, more tea. I love that. What a cute costume. I love that. So
Yeah.
did you
This
get a chance to pick the tea?
Yeah, but it wasn't the season though. It wasn't the season. But they showed us how to pick the leaves correctly and what's the difference between different Japanese tea. What was like really interesting experience. And I also like got to wear this costume. So this is a traditional costume that we've been using in Japan since I don't know, like Edo period, probably something like from 17th century or maybe even earlier. But I was wearing it with my hoodie, so it was kind of like weird. But I really
But I,
enjoyed
I love your honesty in your social media. You're like, please excuse my hoodie.
it. Yeah.
Louise Puppy has joined on YouTube. Great to see you, Louise. She often comes over from New Zealand and enjoys travel around Japan with
Nice.
groups. That's fabulous. Yeah, green tea, right, Natasha? We love it. It's always a popular choice when people come. But even around the world now, we have Japanese green tea to enjoy, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
like
yeah.
true, true.
I think anywhere where they're picking tea, they should wear the costume. We have a beautiful gardens in Hiroshima City,
Yeah.
and they have tea there as well. And I always hope that they would wear the costumes and let us pick some because it's such a nice part of the culture. Now let's talk about Shikoku. So you've been to Iya Valley in Tokushima and went over the scariest bridge
Yeah.
in Japan, right?
That was fun. I also went there like last December. It was my second probably time going to Tokushima. Actually go there like again in the end of December for awadori. So this is like a really famous traditional Japanese dance that was born in Tokushima prefecture. So Tokushima has like a lot of things to offer. Like as you see, like there are like a lot of temples. There's like a pilgrim road that you can visit more than 100 temples on your way, and of course they're like this bridge which is made from the I forgot the name of the plant. What's the
Kind of
name?
vine, isn't
The
it? Yeah.
wine, like the
I've
wine.
I've
Yes.
been over there as well. And then if you're staying in this area just above here, where Alex Kerr has
Yes.
remodeled some beautiful old guest houses. And then the other valley just over is where Kamikatsu, the zero waste town, is. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tokushima. But Awa Odori, the Awa dancing is so fun to watch. I love that too.
Yeah, I would probably have a chance to learn how to dance myself this time at the end of December. So if you follow me, you'll probably
That
see me
would be
dancing
really
it.
fun. I want to see you do it. Now, on Shikoku as well, you've been to Ehime, and this is the famous Ozu Castle, Little Kyoto down below, and then Ozu Castle
Mhm, mhm.
above. That's a lovely little place. I visited there last year as well.
Yeah, like also I actually didn't know about this place, so I found it on the map. and I feel like, interesting. But when I was researching about it, I actually found out that there's like more than 50 cities around Japan that is called like Little Kyoto. There's like a special name for it in Japanese, like called Kyoto, which is like means little Kyoto. Also, cities kind of looking like Kyoto. So also was something really special for me, and I'll definitely go there again. And right now, one of the companies, Japanese companies that own the Nipponia brand, so it's a hotel brand called Nipponia. So they're trying to revitalize the area to bring more tourists, to renovate a lot of old houses so people can stay there and experience this kind of old, slow Japanese life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's beautiful Nipponia buildings right next to the castle. And Ozu Castle is one of the castles you can rent and stay in the castle as well, which is very unique, right?
I've never tried it. I would love to do it. Yes.
Yeah. And now you also went around Kagawa. You went to Shodoshima, Shodo Island,
Yes.
and very popular for Ghibli fans, right?
Yes, I actually went there from Kobe. Kobe is a city which is like really close to Osaka. It's around, I guess, 40 minutes, 45 minutes from Osaka. So I went by ferry. So it was about like maybe 3 hours ride on the ferry. And I went to this island. Shodochim was absolutely beautiful. It is a place where like olive trees are grown. So as you see on the picture, this is an olive tree, which is like really rare for Japan. Um, yes.
And I see a lot of people posing in front of that one on a broomstick with a little black cat because that's Kiki's delivery service used that backdrop, right?
True. Yeah, I haven't tried it. Like, jumping with a broomstick. But it sounds like fun.
Yeah. Now, another place connected to Miyazaki is in Hiroshima that you seem to really love is Tomonoura, right?
My favorite place. Yeah, I love Tomonoura. I've been there like 3 times and I would go again and again. So, Tomonoura is a really small port town that you can go. I think it would take maybe an hour and a half from Hiroshima station. So, there's like a buses going there. No, not from Hiroshima. Maybe, sorry, I forgot. But I actually wrote an article about that. For my site. So if you check it, you can find
Maybe
all
you
about
can get a bus
that.
from Fukuyama Station.
Fukuyama Station. True. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, and it is famous that there is like a story about Miyazaki-san. So Miyazaki, director, he actually created a Studio Ghibli, and he went there, and he was so mesmerized with the city that he came up with the idea of filming, not filming, but creating a Ghibli world that looks like this city. So you can go there and imagine that you're like a character of a Studio Ghibli film. You can actually also stay at the inn that was designed by Miyazaki-san, so which is crazy, right?
I saw that you had that on your Instagram feed. That was so cool to see. I'd never been up there. So, yeah, definitely somewhere I'm going to go next time. And I was happy to see that your fans voted Hiroshima over Nara when
Yeah,
you asked the question. That was amazing.
yeah, a lot of people really want to go to Hiroshima right now. I think it's also influenced by this film Oppenheimer, right? Like it's American film. So like a lot of people really want to go to Hiroshima. But what they don't know is that Hiroshima is really vast prefecture, and of course like Hiroshima city is really beautiful, and I went there for a couple of times. But for example, yes, this is Onomichi, one of my favorite cities in Hiroshima prefecture, which is really beautiful. It's a city on several hills, and you can take a ropeway like up to the mountain to see the beautiful sea, and this landscape. It was amazing.
And of course, going back to cycling, famous for the Shimanami Kaido cycling route. It's only 70 kilometers, So don't rush it. Take your time. There's lots of great places to see along the way. I always recommend people to stay over and enjoy cycling, but also enjoy the town. It's so lovely. I love Onomichi.
No, that it's such a cool vibe, like retro vibe. There are like a lot of small coffee shops around, so you just like go sip a coffee here, there, listen to some like jazz music, and yeah, it's really accessible from Osaka or Kyoto too, and of course Hiroshima city. So it's such a nice place to go, and not a lot of tourists go there. So I would definitely advise it to put it on your itinerary for your next Japan trip. Yes.
Absolutely. And people sometimes tell me, "Oh, don't talk about Onomichi. I want to keep it just for myself." But come on, it can absorb more people. So we
That's
got to
true.
support.
Yes, yes.
So we had a question from Natasha. She said, "Do you have a favorite vegan or vegetarian food or restaurant in Japan?"
I would say like in Tokyo, there's like one place that I really like, which is like plant-based Tokyo. This is like the name. So it is in Shibuya, not really far away from Yoyogi Station. And when I want some, healthy food, I go there. So it's a plant-based Tokyo, which is like really easy to remember. But actually, like if you go like around Japan, you would find like a lot of vegan and vegetarian restaurants. It's not a lot, I would say, but right now I think like a lot of young people in Japan, they prefer to not to eat meat. So there are like a lot of young owners of the new open cafes which serve some vegan or vegetarian cuisine, especially in Tokyo. Like there are like a lot of places we can try it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the challenges of going off the beaten track in Japan is that Tokyo is great, lots of choices. Osaka's not bad, lots of choices. But then you
Mhm,
go to rural areas, it gets really hard. Most of the soups, even for noodles, are made with fish stock.
mhm.
So if you're willing to be flexible and accept fish stock, you can eat almost everything. But if you're a strict vegan vegetarian, it is sometimes really challenging in Japan. It's getting better, but it's still a
Yeah.
bit hard. Yeah.
True. Yeah. But you can always go to a convenience store, to get some plant-based stuff. I see like a lot of tofu sticks like recently, which is like really cool when you don't have time to eat, your lunch.
Yeah, and rice balls. I'm
Yes.
always grateful for rice balls in convenience stores. It's my staple. Great to see you, Anne, on YouTube. Great that you could join as well. She says she loves onomichi. Yeah, we're all onomichi fans. I just wrote an article for All About Japan about onomichi, a two-part article, and there's so many great
Mm,
young entrepreneurs there doing interesting, sustainable businesses as well. So it's got the old classic traditional, but also the new young vibe. It's a really great combo, isn't it?
yeah. There are also like a lot of new hotels that, been opened like last year. Like a lot of options where you can stay for a night too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had a comment. Hiya, girls. Oh, great to see you again, Louise. And Natasha, oh, that's tricky. It is tricky, but as long as you know that it's going to be a bit difficult, I think you can plan ahead, right? Like anything.
Yeah, there's actually like an app that you can download to see. So you can go to a convenience store and scan the code, the street code on the side of the like onigiri or something that you want to buy, to see what's inside, because like as you said, sometimes like Japanese put like meat in everything. So you have to be like pay attention to what you eat if you're like really strict like vegan, for example, but it's not that hard still.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is it is getting easier, and at least now people know what you're talking about. When you say, "Sorry, I don't eat meat or fish," and they're like, "Oh, vegan, okay," like there's an understanding of it now. So it is a lot easier than it used to be. I'm just showing a bit of your Instagram, SUGALENIN, for anyone who doesn't know. and who is on Instagram. There's so much information here. You really spend a lot of time making these beautiful reels. How long do you spend on these? These are gorgeous.
Oh, it really depends if I have, sometimes I'm so inspired by the place that I can make a new video in maybe 10 minutes. But from time to time, I really want to post something, but I'm so like mentally drained that I can't do anything at all. So it really depends. But usually, yeah, from maybe 10 minutes to 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half from time to time. Yeah, but it's actually it takes time to explore, to see like all the details about the place, because I want to show people how easy, how accessible, like the places are. So I take time to do my research about the place, which is probably more important than even making a video.
Yeah. Do you have any hints for how to research good places to visit?
I usually just Google, I use a Google Map. I'm such a fan of Google Map. If you see my Google Map, you'll be like in shock. I have so many places saved. I just usually Google it and, try to see what's around the place. So I don't think it's a really good advice,
No,
but
no. It's probably the most used access to reality and current information. There are some kind of bad reviews or company created reviews, but usually it is very honest and reliable. So yeah, I use it a lot too. We had a question from Anne. Do you recommend for how to book an economical longer term stay of 1 to 3 weeks? Are there better platforms than Airbnb? Great question.
yeah, so I know that there's like one platform that is called a monthly hotel. Monthly hotel. So this is like a special site where you can find a lot of hotels that want you to stay longer, like for a week, for 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. So they have a special like discounts. But I'm not sure if it's in English. So I'm looking at it right now, and it seems that they have only Japan, like page that is entirely in Japanese. But as I said before, you can always use Google Translator. You can translate the whole page, so you can understand what's going on. But yes, monthly hotel is the site that I would recommend you if you want to stay in Japan for a long period of time.
Yeah. And another thing, there's other options you could look into, like temple stays. Sometimes if you stay a week at a temple, it's
Mhm.
very reasonable and it's a really amazing experience. There's also camping in Japan. If you bring or rent or buy your own tent, you can usually use campsites and it's quite reasonable. There's a lot of good budget options staying around. Also, ask your friends because your friends might have friends who live in Japan who might offer you a stay for free, or you could do an exchange. There's home exchange websites as well. There's a lot of options. And Natasha's asking, do you travel on your own solo?
It depends if I travel on business or like private. So if I travel, like if it's a private a trip, I would go solo, or I travel with my husband. And sometimes like I take my friends because they're asking me to take them. It's like, hey, can you please organize a trip for me? And I said like, yeah, well, okay, let's go somewhere. So I'm actually organizing a train for or a trip for Tokyo retreat. There's like a place that I would take my friend for her birthday. It's in Yugawara Onsen. It's a Kanagawa prefecture, so it's a next prefecture that's really close to Tokyo. It takes around like 1 hour and a half to go there.
Thanks for the reminder. I had queued a photo of Yugawara. It looks amazing. And this is Kanagawa Prefecture, so really near Tokyo, right? About an
Yeah,
hour away.
yeah, like I think like 1 hour and a half would do. Mm.
Yeah, and the onsen looks so good. I love your reflection.
I love reflections. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we'll have to let you go in a minute. But it's been great chatting with you. And I would recommend anybody who didn't catch it, our Tokyo City and Nature webinar yesterday, you can still watch it. It's had 600,000 views and 300,000 people have been watching it. It's really had an enormous response. So I think there's a lot of people looking for more sustainable slow travel around Japan, even in Tokyo. So I was so glad to meet you and get your insights there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, and I would love to have a talk again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd love that. Well, you're traveling so much, so we could do a travel update every 6 months or so. That'd be great.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Kristina. I know I'm going to see you maybe in Hiroshima coming up, your next trip, I hope.
Really excited, yeah, about that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
fantastic.
Thank you for your comments, everyone. It's been like really fun to read what you're thinking about. Yeah, I hope you will have a chance to go and explore a different side of Japan.
Absolutely. It's more meaningful, it's more fun for you, but it also supports the local communities better too, right?
Hmm.
Thanks everyone. Thank you so much, Kristina.
Thank you so much, JJ. Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon. Happy travels, everyone.